The first winter cold shelter opened in Oxford, Ohio in December of 2025. In this documentary, you will hear voices of guests, staff, and volunteers who are part of bringing the Oxford Winter House to life.
It's easy to think that there isn't a homeless population here in Oxford because we don't see them very often. Occasionally, if you drive down College Corner Pike, you might see someone who you think maybe is homeless, but they're well hidden. And back when OSH started, the Oxford Area Solutions for Housing, 3 years ago, we looked into how many homeless people were here. That's the first thing we wanted to know, well, how many homeless people are there? And it turned out there wasn't a good count. There's a countywide count, but there wasn't an Oxford-specific count. So we got involved in the countywide, actually nationwide, PIT count, which is point-in-time count. And so we became involved in the Butler County count, but we pulled out just Oxford numbers. So we've done that the last 3 years, and each year we've found that there are approximately 50 homeless people who get counted, give or take. You know, each year it's a slightly different, but we know that in January there are about 50 people who are identified as homeless just around the Oxford area.
I'm Toby Morris. I came here because my basic needs were not being met at my current home, and I just needed to get out of the cold, and it was really helpful for me. We've been without water for 3 years, and we haven't had a working stove in God knows how long, and we tried to get a furnace fixed, but the guy that was working on the furnace stole the parts and left.
If you're comfortable answering, where were you staying before you came to the winter house?
Wherever we could put a tent up. Wherever we could hide out to put our tent up.
No matter what the temperature?
No matter what. Yep, it was hard. But we managed, but it's better to be inside, that's for sure. Absolutely.
My name is John Richter. I'm the senior pastor of the Oxford Vineyard Church. When I started to hear this proposal or this request from the city, I felt like we have to do this. That's what was in my heart, we got to do this. We got to come together as, this is the kingdom. This is God's kingdom. And I just felt so convicted, I would say.
My name is Brian Urell. I am the owner of Fedora Transportation LLC, which is a taxi service that's here in Oxford, Ohio.
So you rented a building, but then sublet part of it for free to a shelter. What was how did you feel called to do that?
I was going to be spending some of the money anyways, but how do I do the most good with the money that I'm spending? And I don't see a better good than being able to help people get back on their feet and have opportunities to rebuild their lives. When I reached out to John Richter and said, hey, I have an idea, it was going to be, well, what if we did this together?
My name's Elaine Brandner. I'm an interior designer, and I thought, I could probably do some things that would be helpful at the house. Well, first we had to determine how many people we could fit in here. So that was kind of a starting point. This is not a residential facility. This has always been an office. We had to determine how many beds could fit in each one of the rooms so that we could determine the occupancy. So that took a little bit of doing. I called a friend of mine who works at Miami University, where I used to work, and she told me that they had some furniture that would be leaving this coming year because the building was being closed, and she was very helpful in helping me procure that. There was a lot of work. The first work actually involved, how do you turn this into a space where people can live? There were bathrooms, but there was not a shower. We had a room here in the back that had a bit of a kitchenette from the people who were here before, and so we ended up putting a shower in there, a utility sink, because there was nowhere to fill water bottles up and things like that. and then a stackable washer and dryer and another dryer.
I'm Corrine. I helped with all the background coordination of volunteers and communications. We started with the dinner volunteers because that was the big kind of food item that we needed to cover. And we were first laying out, the food committee was first laying out, here are the nights that we need food for. And so we decided we'd reach out to the churches that were already doing the Wednesday meals. We felt a little bit better about covering the rest of the nights, knowing that we have committed church members providing at least some of those meals. We had around 69 signups, and people signed up, and then there's more who filled out volunteer forms to come and help serve. So a bunch of people, maybe 100. Once we had dinners covered, people were asking for more spots to volunteer, so we opened up lunch volunteer spots as well.
My name is Sarah Michael, and I've been the food coordinator at the Oxford Winter House. It was a Herculean task because where we landed for a house, we had no functional kitchen. So food had to be brought in, dishes had to be taken out, and every meal had to be, if it was going to be a prepared meal, had to be prepared off-site.
Did you have trouble filling the slots for meals?
No, I was very surprised that the slots filled quickly. People just stepped up, volunteered to cook meal for 15 people, brought it in, served it, and did so pretty joyously. It was a gift for them.
My name is Pat Gifford, and I've been co-coordinator of the Oxford Winter House Pet Boarding Program. And we learned how important it was for folks that are unhoused to be able to take care of their pets if they find a place in a shelter. That was my calling. I just felt, oh my goodness, I can help there. And I'd probably be better with pets than people, but it turned out a little bit differently.
So what were some of the challenges with implementing a care program for the pets?
Well, first of all, to make sure that the space was going to accommodate them. So we worked with Chantel and Chris Ray at the Oxford Veterinary Hospital to make the space for the animals. And then it was recruiting volunteers and setting up a schedule and training the volunteers. And so it turned out to be quite a project for Peggy and me. Yeah.
So how many pets ultimately stayed at the...
As a total, we handled 4 dogs and 1 cat. Actually, 5 dogs, I take it back. 5 dogs and 1 cat.
Even though the Oxford Winter House was not ready for guests in early December, an Arctic blast of cold led to a pivot where temporary housing was established. Initially 2 nights in a hotel, followed by 7 days and nights at the Oxford Vineyard Church.
Sure. My name is Alicia Bond, and I'm a coordinator here at the Winter House. I started out on nights, and now I've kind of moved into the daytime while we try to get people set up with housing after the shelter. Well, I have personal lived experience myself, so I've been in recovery for 3 years now, and I was unhoused myself for a period of time. There's such a community that's been built here, with people that would normally never mix. And even feeling like when people are coming in and maybe there's going to be personality differences, they're in this place and they're together and they're all kind of in the same situation. And so it just brings a level of community. Because of my own personal experience, I know that resources are, hard to find and not as many as we would like, but I have been quite surprised at, the amount of resources that are not available to people, and how much we need more support, from higher up to try to solve this problem long term.
My name is Natalie, and I'm a day shelter coordinator at the Oxford Winter House.
So what does it mean to be a day shelter coordinator? What do you do? What's sort of a typical day?
Oh, busy taking care of all the clients' needs, concerns, applying for housing, um, anything they need, making sure meals are served, people get showers, get to doctor's appointments, psychiatrist appointments, housing appointments. I found myself in a situation about 20 years ago where it was a domestic violence situation. I ended up having to go to a homeless shelter. It was the most terrifying thing I ever did to walk through those doors. I didn't know what to expect, and on the other side, I found kindness, compassion, caring, and because of ending up in that situation myself, I decided that's the field I wanted to work in. The surprise here is the community. I have never seen a community come together like the people of Oxford have. They have truly restored my faith in humanity. The misconception is commonly that homeless people are alcoholics or addicts. And although sometimes that is the case, more often than not, it's the loss of a job, it's an illness, it's a rent increase. You don't know what's going to happen. You miss a paycheck and that can be your home. And we're going to see more families being homeless because of rent increases. And we're in for it. My experience at the Oxford Winter House has been nothing short of wonderful. And I hope to return if we reopen in the fall.
My name is Mary Piper. I've been a participant attending the OSH meetings for a little while, and when the early discussions of the Winter House were getting started, I got pretty interested in helping out with the volunteer training materials. And so alongside the experience and expertise of a couple other folks in the community, including our late friend, Diane Ruther Vierling, we got together and developed the training for our volunteers. Yes, yeah, I enjoy making little resource lists and things like that. And so even though Diane and Jenny and the other leadership contributed a lot more to the content, at first I was happy to be just creating the online materials, and then when the opportunity arose to perform some overnights to complete the more advanced training that I had helped design, it just made sense. It seemed like something worth a try, and really since then it's actually totally changed my professional outlook. I'm applying to go back to school for a social work master's because this is the type of work that I could really see myself doing for a long time.
We always are looking for ways to serve as a family, and so when the opportunity presented itself, we were like, yes. It's just a really simple way to connect with the community. I always find that like serving a meal and sharing a meal with people, it's one of the fastest ways that you can connect with people.
Me personally, I was very surprised and pleased with the fact of how close everyone is here. It seemed very much like everyone belonged and everyone knew each other, and like everyone just like was able to connect with each other, and that was really surprising, and I loved that.
I was surprised by how funny they were.
Yes.
I thought it would be more like, I don't know, I thought it would be very closed off, but they opened up really quickly, and they were actually super funny and interacted with us in a way that I never thought would happen.
Like, I didn't know how much I would enjoy it, because that was like another big surprise for me. I thought I would just be like, okay, let's do this, but once I was like halfway through, I was like, okay, I want to do this again.
Yeah, he's like, can we do this again?
It was really fun, and I really enjoyed that.
It's just really nice to serve the community that way. Just connecting with people is really nice.
Okay, my name is Alice Anderson, and this is Peaches. She's 14 years old, and she's a ball of energy. We did have a young German Shepherd. She was full of energy, and she could really pull. So we did she was a challenging, but we would walk her down to the bridge and back and get her worn out a little bit. I have never come across dogs so full of love. These dogs show love and attention all the time.
My name is Felix Jordan, and Actually, I found the winter house when it started, breaking into cold weather. I've been on the streets for quite some time. Broke my back and just had a weight on disability and things like that. This place here, the Oxford House, is like I say, I've been in several, probably half a dozen shelters, and this place, you guys have helped more than most places I've been. I mean, you guys are, you put forth the effort where a lot of other places the effort's not there. I mean, it sounds good, but there's not enough help out there for situations like we're in.
Bunch of nice people here that's concerning and trying to do what they can, and I appreciate that. I mean, people fall on hard times. I mean, things happen in people's lives, and I think that we can owe it to ourselves and the community to help each other and help reach out to try to support each other, I think.
My name is Mary, and when I first encountered this winter house, I was talking to my foster family about being homeless, and they proved that they showed me this place, and they had me come into this place, and I was very nervous, to be honest with you, because of the other shelters I had been to. But as soon as I walked in, and even 10 minutes in, it was already amazing. In this place, it makes you have faith in yourself, and they really do help you. The other shelters, they made me feel like I didn't have courage to even go to college. This place, they helped me have faith and courage in going to college, hence why I put my profile in for Miami College. Well, the winter house actually helped me get into another shelter that is basically an apartment. So it's like I have my own apartment, and they also helped me get into college. So hopefully I will be able to get into the summer program for social work. They make you feel safe from anybody on the outside. They really do make you feel safe.
I think it's amazing that we were able to pull together what we did in the time that we did it, and now that we've had this pilot experience, I'm really excited for being able to carry on to the next step of hopefully something more than just emergency or transitional housing.
What kind of words of advice would you have for the general community about interacting with our unhoused neighbors?
Just do it. Just say hi, just start a conversation.
Well, I think we've learned a lot this year about this process, and I think the feedback that we have from volunteers and from the guests is going to help us in terms of the future, and I hope that ultimately we can find our way to a permanent shelter, year-round shelter.
I think that we've started something good here, and I hope that now that we know what the community can do here, I think that we can together solve a lot more problems. Not necessarily problems, but I think together we can work to help attack this homelessness issue in different ways.
I'm just hoping that we can continue this and that you can continue to help people in the community and that they can expand this and all of the good things. I want everything to work out well, and I hope everything works out well here, and I'm very appreciative.
They've put me in the right direction to where, when this place closes down, I'm not going back to the streets. In the next few days, I'll have a roof over my head in my own home, and I haven't had it for some time. I want everybody to know that, even if the Oxford House don't have a bed, when they do open it back up, they will direct you in the right place to where they can help you get off the streets. So, this is the place to be if you're willing to do the work you need to do and get off the streets. This is the place to be because the help's here. All of you guys is awesome. I couldn't have been treated no better.
Oxford Winter House, by the numbers. Who were the guests served by the Oxford Winter House? There were 33 total guests that were served. The median age of guests was 52, with an age range of 20 to 70. 70% of the guests were white, 48% male, 55% had a previous arrest record, and 58% reported at least one mental health issue. Where were guests staying before the Ohio Winter House? How did they find out about the OWH? Prior to coming to the OWH, 17 were homeless at least 4 times in their lives. 17 also had been homeless for at least 1 year. 12 had stayed at a place not meant for habitation before coming to the OWH, and 9 stayed at an emergency shelter before coming to the OWH. In terms of how they were referred to the Ohio Winter House, 10 guests were referred by a path worker, 4 guests by word of mouth, and 2 guests each by TOPS, Hopeline, and the police. How long was a typical OWH stay, and what services and support were provided? Out of the 79 nights that were open, the length of stay ranged from 1 night to 75 nights, with 21 nights being the median. Documents and services obtained or provided by paid staff, case manager, or volunteers included 7 birth certificates, 4 each of state IDs, Social Security cards, Medicaid cards. 15 or more times there were attempts to secure housing vouchers for those chronically homeless. Most guests took advantage of some of the resources at TOPS, case management, and transportation. Specific guest needs included clothing from ThreadUp, uniforms for new jobs, work clothes, professional licenses, glasses, tents, heaters, security deposits, camping fees, bus tickets, help with a college application, and even a car. How many volunteers contributed to the Oxford Winter House? 61 individuals donated 75 dinners and lunches. 95 people donated supplies, equipment, and more. 54 individuals helped prepare the Winter House for occupancy. 14 pet volunteers were present. There were 25 day volunteers and 10 night volunteers. 118 people completed Level 1 training as a volunteer, 29 Level 2, and 17 as Level 3. 125 individuals and groups made monetary donations to the Winter House via the OSH website. Thank you to the City of Oxford for helping initiate and finance the Oxford Winter House. Thank you, Brian Urell, for hosting the Oxford Winter House in a space with his business. And importantly, thank you to everyone who contributed to the operation and the success of the Oxford Winter House. Your concern for our unhoused neighbors is a testimony to caring in our community. Finally, a special thanks for the support provided by Martha Lee's Winter House Fund, a fund established in memory of Martha Lee Pulley.